Growing up, I didn't really know what I wanted from life. I wasn't really a kid with a dream job or like a vision board. I just thought that if I worked hard, made some money, and kept my head down, things would just sort of work out in the end. So for a while, I chased the usual 20-something formula. Work all week, party a little, travel a little, and spend freely. I thought that was freedom. But honestly, when I really thought about it, I didn't truly feel free. I felt distracted, anxious, and also unfulfilled when I really got down to it. I didn't really realize it at the time, but I was definitely chasing pleasure as opposed to peace. Eventually, it got to a point where I started to slow down a lot. I did things like journaling, lifting weights, going for walks, and practicing mindfulness at the same time. Just thinking more intentionally about what I actually wanted from this world. And in those still moments, I started to truly feel real peace. That feeling of not wanting to be rich per se, but needing to be free. I'm on that journey myself, but I also want to help other people find their own version of freedom too. I made this channel for people who are also trying to live intentionally in this very loud and distracted world that we live in. It's about clarity and it's about breathing. I had the opportunity to recently read this awesome book by Greg McKeown about essentialism. It's a really solid read, and it was just a good reminder that life isn't really about doing more per se, but it's about doing what matters. And that's what matters to you, your family, your friends, the people around you. You know, I want this to be a collaborative environment where I'm able to talk about what's worked for me, but also what might be working for you guys as well. Yeah, I'm pretty new to this whole YouTube thing, but I'm looking forward to sort of just talking about my journey and sharing the things I learned along the way with you guys. I don't know when and how I'm going to get there, but this is my journey from how I plan to be free. So freedom to me isn't necessarily about quitting my job, flying to Bali, sipping margs on the beach, talking to hot locals, stuff like that. I'm more so interested in the freedom that lets me wake up without any anxiety. That feeling of knowing I can walk away from things that don't necessarily serve me. It's like saying no without any guilt, taking time off without spiraling, and living intentionally but not quite impulsively. You know, for me, freedom is space, it's control. It's being able to rest without explaining yourself. I want to be able to sort of design my own life rather than defer to it. Why wait until I turn 65 when I can just sort of do that right now? That's the kind of life that I'm chasing. I used to think that you had to sort of be born into wealth or luck your way into like some really nice windfall. But everything starts with belief, and riches begin with a state of mind. Money isn't just math, but it's also an emotion. It's behavior. It's what you believe about enoughness, I guess. So here are the steps that I'm personally taking that I'm hoping to help me reach that financial, physical, spiritual, and emotional freedom. Not necessarily going to be the most perfect list right off the bat, but these are just the steps that I'm going to continue to implement throughout my day-to-day. And then if I learn any new stuff along the way, I'll make sure to share it with you guys. So firstly, I'm going to continue to pay myself first before paying off my bills. I'm going to continue to treat my savings like it's a non-negotiable bill. Yeah, this one's a little bit basic, but it's also a very important step for sort of getting your finances in order. And because I've already built up and maximized my emergency savings account, those payments now just go straight towards investments. So that's just like your basic S&P 500 fund, your NASDAQ 100, and a little bit of Bitcoin too. This forced me to adjust my lifestyle to what was left. And over time, my savings actually started to grow a lot more. And my investments were starting to compound really nicely right now too. Nextly, I'm going to continue to make sure that I'm continuing to track my cash inflows and my cash outflows as well. There's this great book on finance called Your Money or Your Life. And in that book, it sort of talks about how each dollar that you have and that gets added to your life is like a little bit of your own life source, like a little bit of your own life force being used. Like your dollars are connected to your life energy. Yeah, so once I became aware of how much I spent on takeout and subscriptions, I was able to redirect those funds towards things that brought me peace. Nextly, I'm going to continue to plan on living below my means. Not too much to kind of go over with this one, but just kind of keep things brief. Spend less than I make, and invest the difference. Next, and probably the most important in my opinion, is I want to make sure that I'm taking care of my physical health. That's something that's just super important to me. So making sure I'm exercising, making sure I'm eating very healthy. So there's a lot of resilience required when it comes to making that first $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000. So by going out and lifting weights, you're not just building up your body physically, but you're also building up the mentality, the mental aspect of it as well. You're building a resilient body, which is going to lead to you having a very resilient mind. And lastly, I plan on consuming a lot of things that have a lot of positive energy to it. So if any of you guys have read Atomic Habits before, They make a very strong point to emphasize that your small inputs are going to add up, right? So curating your media diet and avoiding toxicity and actively putting positive things that are like actively consuming positive content. So consuming that positive content helped me out a lot personally. I curated my media diet to replace toxic content with positive and uplifting content. Honestly, not watching the news at all and not paying attention to what's going on around the world, and more so channeling that energy into focusing on what you can control, I think goes a much longer way compared to focusing on things that are beyond your control. Yeah. So curated the books I read. So I read a lot of great books about finance. And when it came to entertainment, just watched a lot of shows that had a lot of positive and uplifting messages about perseverance and growth. So think your Dragon Ball Z, like your comic book characters, like reading stuff like Superman, Batman, stuff like that. That really helped me out in maintaining that positive mindset required to get through that leg of the journey. None of this happened overnight, but stacking these habits goes a long way. Something that's also important to remember as well is that while money may give you options, it's not necessarily going to bring you happiness per se. Money has always been what I call a personality amplifier, where how much you have is just an amplifier on what you already were planning on doing. So if you're a great person with lots of money and you like to give to charity or to church, and you like to volunteer your time to helping out your community, then you having a lot of money is going to do great things for the environment. Compared to someone that may not believe in those things, where if they had a lot of money, they may use it for other reasons. It'll give you space, let you say no to some bad jobs, and leave some unhealthy situations as well. But it can never really make you whole. You can be rich and miserable, or modest and joyful. It really all depends on your mindset. 5 intentional years of solid hard work can change your next 40 for the better. Just 5 years of locking in on your finances, your physical health, your mental health. If you're able to just do that for 5 years, maybe 7, maybe 1, actually even just 1 is probably just enough there. You'll be able to put yourself in a financial and physical situation that most human beings in a developed country will never be able to touch. True wealth is built quietly, but not loudly. Daily routines done consistently will shape your future more than big moments ever will. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. And if you stick with it, even when it's really slow at the start, your life will change for the better and it'll go a long way. So I didn't really make this YouTube channel because I had all the answers or that I've necessarily made it per se. I made it because I know what it feels like to feel stuck, to feel like the world is happening around you instead of through you. This channel is my way of offering something I wish someone offered me when I was younger, which is honest conversations, no fluff, no nonsense. I just want to reflect on the things that have encouraged me and provide encouragement for anybody who wants to move towards that freedom. If you care about your money, your health, or your mindset, then this channel is for you. This is just the beginning, and I'm looking forward to building it with you.